We meet again. Today was a very dreary day outside, and I guess that mood just lingered on to the school. But it was a slow start today, but it panned out very well. As far as me writing, it was okay. I think yesterday morning I was driving my car and I was trying to fix my shoe, and I pulled on my shoe and I felt my wrist start to hurt, and I was like, oh no, red flags just started going off, like, what are you doing? Because your hands are your future when it comes to the school. So it hurt a little, and I didn't think anything of it. But what I should have did was kind of just lay off of it and be a little easy on it, as far as maybe just taking my time or not trying to write as fast as I would normally. But no, not this chica. This chica has to type as fast as she possibly can. But I think I just put a little strain on my wrist. Not a big thing, not a bad thing. Not to the point where I'm going to have to go to the doctor or anything like that. But it does affect your writing, I feel. So now knowing this, I'm going to take it a little more easy. But then there's one problem. And then the other one is, let me update you guys. Right now, I think a couple days ago I passed my 160 jury charge. So at the moment I am at 180 jury charge, 160 lit, 140 Q&A, which is just crazy. But it is what it is. So my goal now is to pass my 140 Q&A so I can be in full 160. Be considered a 160 student, but just with a 180 jury charge. Because when it comes down to it, you wind up getting your jury charges before anything else, just because of the repetition of what they're saying. Whether it's beyond a reasonable doubt, preponderance of the evidence, what is negligence, what is a crime, things like that. So, my goal before the quarter ends, I have to pass my 140 Q&A. That is my absolute goal. And for me not to get it, it's like frustrating, because I'm like, I should get this. If I'm doing that fast in jury charge, why am I not doing it in Q&A? But it happens. It's a different, different writing. When you're doing Q&A, it's question, answer. And sometimes it can get confusing. Even though jury charges can be boring, it's the same thing, Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I instruct you on the law, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So that's my dilemma. I want to rest up on my wrist, but also, too, I want to make sure I pass that 140 Q&A. Well, I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to see how it works out and then get back with you guys to see if it does work. I'm just going to get maybe some Bengay on my wrists. And maybe just, on my hands, and relax my hand for a day or two, maybe over the weekend, and, see if it works better for me. Because I don't want to put too much strain on it to the point where I wind up just hurting myself in the long run. I don't want that. So that's my goal. And plus, I want to pass my 140. So I think that's very important. If you feel that your wrists are being strained in some way, maybe the way you're writing, or maybe your posture, or maybe the fact that you're just pounding on the keys so much that it's hurting your wrists, don't do it. Because if you keep creating that habit of doing that, you may be hurting your wrists and your fingers in the end. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I have a bone to pick with a couple of voice students, because they're fairly new to this school. And, we always say, well, we can't take distractions, because I don't know what school you guys go to as far as court reporting. Is it harder when there's distractions? And the answer is, of course there is. My thing is, with voice students, they are very quiet, but they say, well, you should be ready for distractions. And my thing is, let that be. Their point is that, when you're in the courtroom, there's going to be people talking, but I'm thinking, in that point in time, I'm writing so well and so clean that no distraction is going to bother me. But since I'm not at that point of just being in the zone where I don't hear anything, and I'm still in school, a consideration has to be brought out to everybody. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that they're horrible. Voice students are awesome. I see them, and if they're good voice students, you can't hear a word they're saying. You can't even know that their mouth is moving, and I think that's really cool. But also, too, you have to take into consideration, not only is it a fairly new addition to the school of court reporting, that little things may distract the other students. If you're used to having complete silence and no distractions, and then little distractions are in the classroom while there's a test, it can get kind of crucial. And I don't think any student has anything against the boy students. I think they're doing very well. But I also feel that even with us, we have to take in consideration with them too. And that also goes on towards if you're going through dictation, not to walk in the classroom or walk out of the classroom, because I think that's distracting. And that's just having that common consideration for each other. So people are like, well, boy students will say, well, there's always going to be distractions, and they're right, and they're 100% right. But I think if there's least distractions now, we will succeed and do better and progress a lot faster. And then once we're in the courtroom, who could care less? We're so good that a ball could drop from the sky and we'll still be writing. But I think they're doing really good as far as it being a new addition to the school. And things like that you gotta get used to. I'm gonna have to get used to certain distractions, and just like the next person. But with the school is all about learning the process and getting yourself to a point where you're just fully zoned in and not worried about anything. But me personally, I know I'm not at that point. So that's me just rambling on. But hopefully, if anyone's really interested in Brown College, to go on Brown College Atlanta for YouTube, or go to our website, because we're located in Atlanta, Georgia. So check us out. If you have any questions, or you want to see where our campus is, or how we set up our academics and our speed building and things like that. So this was a fairly long diary, but I hope you enjoyed it.